Good morning, students. I hope you had an excellent weekend. This is the review for your test today. If you take a look at problems 1, 2, 3, and 4, you notice that these problems are all for geometric series. Okay, and you'll also notice that all of these there's an asterisk by them. All of the questions are jumbled. This is different than what is printed out. So please don't go by don't try to go and memorize the letters. It will just hurt you. All right, so whenever I write the explicit formula, sorry, it went out of focus there. When I'm trying to write the explicit formula for each, I always have to write it as like right here, A sub n. Okay, that's what that means. A sub n equals A sub 1. Okay, that means the very first term times r, what I've multiplied each term by, to the power of n minus 1. So, in this case, for number 1, okay, my a sub n equals the first term, which is 1, okay, times what I'm multiplying each of these by, and it's by negative 4. So negative 4 is the r to the n minus 1. Okay, so that's for the geometric and recursive. Okay, now we're taking a look at solve the quadratics by advanced factoring. Okay, and that is over here. I've already done some preliminary work so that the video would not be as long. Okay, we have 9x squared plus 21x plus 6. Okay, now in order for me to solve this, my first step is to take a times c, 9 times 6. Okay, so I've done that, and now I've factored it. So now my factors are 1 and 54, 2 and 27, 3 and 18, 6 and 9. So now I have 3 and 18. Now I put my a's in front of the x's. So now my a, which is 9, goes in front of each x right here. So 9x plus 3 and 9x plus 18. Okay, then I use can-COE. Can anything come out of everything? So now I factor out a 3, so now I have 3x plus 1 and 3x plus 6. The 3x plus 1 is already reduced. I can't reduce that anymore, but I can reduce both of those by 3. So that's going to give me 3x plus 1 and x plus 2. Then I go to the very last step of solving, which takes 3x plus 1 is equal to 0, x plus 2 is equal to 0. Solve, and my answers are negative 1 third and negative 2. Now, for another problem, and that's on down the page a little bit, but you have about 6 problems that are just like this. 12n squared minus 8n minus 4. I first take a times c. 12 times negative 4 gives me negative 48. Now in the previous question, okay, my c was positive, so if the c is positive, both factors follow the sign of b. So when c is negative, okay, the larger factor follows the sign of b. So I take a times c, 12 times 4. Then I use all of my factors of 48, 1 and 48 and so on. Now my larger factor is going to be negative, so all of my factors down here are negative. All the ones up here are positive. So now I take minus 12 plus 8. I insert 12 where the a's are, go in front of the x's. Okay, so then I use can-COE. All of these are divisible by 4, so that's going to give me 3n minus 3 and 3n plus 2. Now, this is already factored, okay? I can't reduce it anymore. This one, I can divide both of those by 3. So now I have 4n minus 1 and 3n plus 2. So now my answers are n plus 1 and n equals negative 2/3. All right, and so that is for problem 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, 13 and 14 are just input into your calculator, okay, and graph and see which one matches up. 15 is an input into your calculator and see which one matches up. Now, okay, with 17, it's asking you combine the graph of 13 and 15, okay, to where if I were to put those two graphs together, what would it look like? But the question here is not what it would look like, but where is one of the points of intersection? Okay, and some of them there's going to be 1, and some there's going to be 2. Okay, in this sense, all right, okay, there in both of these, okay, in 17 and 18, all right, there is one, okay, place where they intersect that you can find on your table. So whenever you have both of these graphed, okay, go to your table, second and graph in the calculator, and your table will pop up. Find the x where both of your y's are the same. And that's the answer for 17 and 18. Okay, now I'm going to pull 19 up here, okay, because I accidentally, okay, gave this question twice. So anyway, so in a sense, you're getting 2 right answers for this one. Now, the pilot study was conducted in Portugal in a care home for elderly people. The researchers made use of video recordings, allowing them to review activities as often as necessary. They selected video recordings over direct observation to ensure the capture of all important information. What type of study is this? Now you have about 4 questions that deal with observational, experiment, census, or sample survey. This one is, of course, observational. I'm watching something take place. All right? Experiment means I can perform this, all right? But, okay, I only adjust one of the variables. Like, for instance, in an experiment with a drug, I'm going to give some people this particular drug, and I'm going to give other people what's called a placebo. Okay, it's just a pill that has absolutely no power whatsoever. All right, so that is an experiment. A census means that you count everybody in a particular group. All right, now in the United States, we have a census every 10 years. Okay, when we take a census for statistical purposes, it's usually involving small groups. Now, a sample survey will take, and this is one that's used most often, it is where they take an entire demographic of people and then randomly select people out of it, okay, to see what their preferences are, what they like to do, etc. All right, now you are going to have a question like 24. All right, and so in question 24, a rock is dropped from a bridge at 120 meters. The rock's height from the ground in meters is h of t, is modeled by the formula h of t equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 120, where t is the time in seconds. How far will the rock fall after 3 seconds? Well, I'm just going to input 3 in for t right here and solve. Okay, and that's 24. And then 25 and 26 and so on. Okay, you're dividing by this particular number. Now, in each sense, okay, I'm dividing by this. All right, what they're asking is this a factor? Okay, the r plus 1, is it a factor? So how I solve for it is that I take this entire formula right here, okay, put it into y1, and then I go, once I put this into y1, I go to graph, okay, and then I go to, or I should say I go to second and graph, and a table will pop up. I'm looking for what the amount or what the value of y is, where in this case r is negative 1. Okay, so when I plug it into the calculator, it's going to give me a value where r is negative 1, the remainder is 3. Now in this case, if the remainder was 0, then r plus 1 would be a factor. But since we don't know, it's r, since this one is not a factor, it has a remainder. Okay, and I find that by just finding what the value is, negative 1, into here, and my remainder is 3. Good luck with your test tomorrow. I hope you do well. I hope you've had a great weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.